Hey everybody, welcome back. Hank's with me again today, and today we are going up on the Art Loeb Trail here, going south to Deep Gap, and we're going to try and summit Cold Mountain before the sun sets. We're going to camp at Deep Gap, and Hank's going to head back here to the Daniel Boone Scout Camp to his car, and I'm going to press on, going for a third southbound through hike on the Art Loeb Trail back to my car at the Davidson River Campground. All right, so see, Hank's worried about water. We're 8/10 of a mile in, and we've come to our third stream already. And I told him that I couldn't remember the exact amount of stream crossings in this section of the trail, but I'll let you guys know if you're interested in coming south on the Art Loeb, how many there are up to the Deep Gap campsite. But that was our third stream crossing in 8/10 of a mile. And I said there's a bigger one further up the climb. So the views are opening up. Every time I do this trail, which I've done this 4 times now, this stretch of the Art Loeb, maybe 5 times, I always feel that is Cold Mountain that I'm looking at, if my orientation is correct. Got a little open field just below the summit, but it looks like the highest point on the ridge. But the trail's wrapping around more towards the right, like we're going to a gap right here to get to Deep Gap. Well, that would be how it's got its name. So look at this rock slide. The trail wasn't in this condition the last time I was here in, what was that, January of 2021. But we had a flood back in August with that tropical storm that came up. And you see the condition of the trail going up. I did open up the water a little bit, but this is what you got to contend with when you're coming up. This is very muddy, folks. So you have to grab onto these roots and keep 3 points of contact. Make sure your foot is on as solid ground as you can. But once you get over here, it's muddy, and you should keep your hand on the roots as you're climbing up. These roots that are sticking out, they'll offer you some support. Test them first. Make sure they can support your weight, but then we use this fallen log over here to grab onto to hoist ourselves up. All right, I've reached home for the night at Deep Gap. Now the sign says 3.8, but my GPS said 3.9. So it's pretty close. So this is the spur trail for Cold Mountain. Straight ahead, there used to be a sign there just last year, so I don't know what happened to it, but that's going north to Cold Mountain about 1.5 miles, 1.4 miles one way. It gains like 1,000 feet of elevation, and there's a pipe spring on the way up. This is south to the Art Loeb. That's the way I'm going through the Narrows tomorrow morning. And you see over here, it is 6:30, by the way, and the sun has set, and Hank is finally making it to camp. So we're gonna have a good night. I'll talk to you in a bit. Hey folks, so we are set up now, and I wanted to show you Hank's shelter. He's got a tarp. I thought that was pretty cool, so I wanted to show it to you guys. This man goes through a lot of different backpacking gear. He's a connoisseur of backpacking gear. He doesn't like the Tyvek underneath though, because it makes too much noise. That's what I've heard from other people too. But I like his setup, so I wanted to share it with you guys. You can see I'm down here, down the hill from him. The reflective lining of my tent. So yeah, we're in a pretty broad camping area here at the base of Cold Mountain, and we're gonna have a good night. If I have anything more to share, I'm gonna let you guys know. Maybe when we get our dinner going, and maybe even a campfire. We'll see. If not, I'll talk to you in the morning. You see, I got a nice fire going, and I got some firewood, and just waiting for my my oatmeal to heat up. It's got, this one is like a chemical reaction. You put a heating pad in the bag with the food, and you pour 3 to 5 ounces of water in there, and it starts to steam, and it comes out the hole right there, hot steam, and it works to heat your meal. So waiting for that. It's almost done. A little bit of steam coming out yet, but just enjoying my campfire. Hank is over there under his tarp. He's tired from the climb up, but this heat feels good, so I'm enjoying this while I wait for my dinner. So I'll say goodnight, folks, if there's not anything more to add. Good morning, y'all. It is 5:05. I'm waiting for my water to boil. Hank left me. He went down the trail there. He left about a half an hour ago. He said he didn't sleep well. The gusty wind came in and blew his tarp off of him, and his Tyvek was making too much noise. A friend said you could dry it in the dryer and soften it up so it doesn't make so much noise when you're camping at night if you use it as ground cover. But Hank didn't sleep hardly at all, he said, so he just wanted to get out of here, which is what he usually does, and he left, a little after 4:30, and he said he was going to take his time back to the car because it's got some slippery spots there, and I was worried about him, but he'll be all right. He's done this sort of a thing before. But anyway, I'm going to have breakfast and hopefully be back on the trail by about 6. This is cool. As I'm climbing up to the Narrows, I see the moon, and then you look over here and you see the sunrise breaking. "6:34, the trail's getting steeper. You can see that's Mount Pisgah right there. So this is probably how this section of the trail got its name. It's called the Narrows. You see how narrow the trail is here. Climbing up these rocks. So this is just over 1 mile since I left camp at Deep Gap, going south on the Art Loeb. I always forget about it. There's a nice spot for camping here too, right off the trail. I've gained 500 feet of elevation right here in this mile. So you see it's a little bit of a climb. You can get a few people in here camping. I'm 5,700 feet in elevation, and there's a little bit of snow and ice, but there's nowhere near as much as there was last time I was in Shining Rock Wilderness 2 weeks ago. It's 2.7 miles from Deep Gap, south on the Art Loeb, and we're getting close to Shining Rock. You can tell when you see all these quartz boulders all over the place. So 2.7 miles, and I think I'm gonna get water here. It's gonna be ice cold. All right, I just took this little side path here. There's the sign where I came from. And this is the way to Shining Rock. I'll show it to you here in a little bit. All right, you can see Shining Rock is coming into view here. I'm gonna go up to the top and show it to you. You see there's a trail where I just came from. Just follow it around towards the right, and you walk over these tree roots here. Just keep on walking to the right. It's a little confusing, but you follow it over. Look for the well-worn trail right here. And you'll see it right up the hill here. This will take you to the top. You see here on the left, don't go that way. I mean, you can get a view there, but the top of the trail is right here. So that's where I came from. Once you get here on the right, that's the old Art Loeb Trail. It will take you back to 276. And this is the way to Shining Rock. It's only 0.2 of a mile off the Art Loeb, according to the map. So this is the official summit of Shining Rock, according to Gaia GPS. I've actually never walked all the way up to this point. I always stayed at the lower edge of the giant rock outcrop further down the trail. But anyway, so this is the first time for me being to this point, and the views are actually better up here. This is just over 6,000 feet. And I came around right there. So check this out. There's a really good view of Mount Pisgah over there. So look at how white these rocks are. It's just amazing. Looks like snow. They say it's supposed to reflect the sun's light when you're on the Art Loeb Trail going north. You could actually see it from Black Balsam. I'm pretty sure I have, or at least from Tennent Mountain, once you get a clear view. And that's the that path will take you to the top. I just came down that. And you can go down this way back to the trail out to the Art Loeb. So once you come down off of Shining Rock and you're trying to reconnect with the Art Loeb to go south, so make sure when you get to the trail junction there where the sign was earlier that you bear left. And if you see this, that's the side trail for Shining Creek, Big East Fork Trailhead. I met a guy named Zach there camped out. That's where he came from. You see the sign on the left? Just bear straight and you'll be on the right path on the Art Loeb going south. So here's the view from Flower Gap. Going up and over the Balds. Last time I thru hiked it northbound, I cheated and took the Avester Gap Trail. This time I think I'm gonna go up and over the Balds, even though it's gonna be a lot more strenuous. I'm gonna be more tired. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to complete the trail today. So I might have to camp again, but that's okay. At the top of Grassy Cove top, 6,050 feet. And the closed parkway is down there. So you see Sam's Knob over there? Well, that is the landslide I showed you on my Middle Prong Shining Rock Wilderness Loop when I was going down the Fork Mountain Trail closer to the end of the video. And the Sylvester Gap right there, the old road bed during the logging era, turned into a off-road use now. You can also use it as a trail. And the Art Loeb continues right there, going over the Balds, Tennent Mountain, Balsam. You see how the trail is really eroded. I'm just walking on the left. It's like a trench going down this. Now I'm at the base of Tennent Mountain, so I'm making a left to continue on the Art Loeb, and right is the Avester Gap Trail. As the official summit of Black Balsam. It's 6,211 feet, the highest peak on the Art Loeb Trail. And the trail is very muddy up here. So I crossed Black Balsam Road in the pine forest, and it shares a couple miles with the Mountains to Sea Trail here. And just follow the white circles on the trees. You'll be fine. All right, here's where I make the left turn off the Mountains to Sea Trail to follow the Art Loeb southbound down Silver Mine Bald, which is, in my opinion, probably one of the hardest stretches going north, because it's straight up, but it's pretty short. See how steep it is? Get a little view though. Going down to the parkway. All right, so I came down to the parkway, and there's where the trail continues on the other side, and there's where it came from. The parkway is closed right now because of winter. So I've made it to the Deep Gap shelter, and you see the condition people leave it in. Just leave a trash bag there. I don't get that. And yeah, just leave behind whatever they think they can leave behind with no consideration to the environment or others. I'm gonna take a break here, get some water from the spring, which is right down there, and push on, because that's Pilot Mountain right there, and that's quite a summit. It's more difficult if you're going northbound, but it's still challenging going southbound, but at least it gives you switchbacks. At the summit of Pilot Mountain, just over 5,000 feet. You really only get views from one side of the ridge. Here's where I came from. I'm going north. All right, folks, I want to show you this. This was left behind by a kind soul. Gatorade and water. Water cache for Art Loeb thru hikers and trail runners, provided by Mountain High Shuttles. Happy trails. Isn't that nice? It's just right by a gap here on the Art Loeb Trail. Nice people. Thank you so much. All right, it's 6:53. The sun has set. I've been on trail for over 12 hours, albeit probably about 10 of those hours were hiking time, 2 hours of breaks. This is a big trail junction right here at Butter Gap, about 1/10 of a mile before the shelter. So if you make it to this junction right here, you're gonna follow the trail furthest to the right if you're going southbound on the Art Loeb. You're not gonna go that way to the left, because that's the Butter Gap Trail. And you're not going to go that way because that is Cedar Mountain, I believe. Anyway, I can't tell what that is. I'm pretty sure that's the way to Cedar Mountain. But this is the way you're going to go. The trail furthest to the right. That's the Art Loeb. And you'll reach the Butter Gap shelter in 1/10 of a mile, and you know you're on the right path. 7 o'clock, and I've reached home for the night at the Butter Gap shelter. And this one has bear cables over there. I think you can see them right there. So even though the bears aren't really active right now, I still use them. Otherwise, I have a bear hang. I don't always bring my bear canister. So I'm going to set up here, folks, and I'll probably get back to you here in a little bit. All right, dinner is cooking. Got Peak Refuel chicken Alfredo pasta. I'm all set up in the shelter with my tent. So it should be a decent night. It feels a lot milder tonight. The winds have died down here at the shelter. So hopefully I won't have any issues. I know the shelter looks dilapidated, but I figured it was a better cover from the elements than my tent would be in case it does rain tonight. Plus I'm still sleeping in my tent, so I'll let you guys know how it goes in the morning. Good morning, folks. So I had a good night's sleep at the shelter here. Glad I slept in the shelter. Chose the easiest thing to do for me because it did rain, as you could hear. I turned my light on a little brighter, but you're probably still not going to see it. But yeah, I'm having breakfast here, and water's boiling. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here by 6, and I have 7.5 miles to get back to the Davidson River where my car is parked at the campground. So I will probably show you a little bit more of what I see on the way, but yeah, it's been a good journey so far. All right, leaving the Butter Gap shelter. It's 6:30. Temperatures are mild. Still a little bit of precipitation. It's just misty. It felt like it was in the 40s last night, and it still feels really mild. I actually had to come out of my sleeping bag liner and sleeping bag because I was so warm, and then I just pulled it up over me because I got a little cold again. But yeah, with the rain, the milder temperatures came in. Hopefully the milder temperatures are here to stay for a bit. All right, 1.5 miles from the Butter Gap shelter, and I'm at the campsites at the base of Cedar Rock. It's 7:10. Daylight has broke on the horizon. You see how crappy the weather is. It's been misty, off and on rain, poor visibility, fog. So there won't be much to see here, but whatever there is to share with you guys, I'll be sure to do it. All right, so I've got a mile to go. I'm going downhill now, and it's raining off and on. I just want to let you guys know that the next trip I think you're going to like, because I have vacation coming up, and the trip is going to commence real soon, not even a week away. So with that being said, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'd like you to stay tuned because I think you're going to like what you're going to see. So it's going to be pretty epic. It's a big backpacking trip, and if everything goes according to plan, that's going to happen, and I look forward to sharing it with you guys. So thanks again for watching. I think I'm going to close this out, and we'll see you later. All right, here's where it ends, folks. Cross the little creek, and the Davidson River is over there, and you make a left turn over there and go down that little forest walk for about 1/10 or 2/10 of a mile back to the parking lot right by the Davidson River campground. And this is where it starts for northbounders. Uphill right away. This is the official end back at the parking lot.